Welcome to my podcast entitled Some Musings on 2019. My name is Dennis Lewis. One question that may come to life for many of us these last couple of days of the year is, will 2019 be a truly new year? A year filled with fresh discoveries of who we really are? Or a used year filled with old experiences and what we think or believe we already know? Just take a moment to ponder that. It's an important question. Another question that may perhaps come to life for many of us is, what is my responsibility to others? Not just my family and friends, but to everyone I meet on my life's journey. We see less and less public discourse today based on civility. Making angry, judgmental accusations is easy. But it is only civility and kindness that enable listening, understanding, and real relationship. Anger and kindness, like frowns and smiles, are both contagious. Which will you spread in your upcoming interactions in the new year? Observe yourself carefully. Sometimes it's not the words we speak, but how we speak them. Sometimes it's our facial expressions and bodily gestures. Try observing yourself honestly as you engage with others. You can start right now, even listening to this podcast. What expressions are on your face, in your hands, and so on? Just observe. So now, if you're looking for a meaningful New Year's resolution, I want to remind you of what Mother Teresa said. Quote, "Let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happier. Be the living expression of God's kindness. Kindness in your face, kindness in your eyes, kindness in your smile." End of quote. To be truly kind to yourself or anyone else requires knowledge, compassion, and discernment, and the willingness and ability to do what you may not feel like doing. Are you willing? Let's ponder that together for a moment. Whether or not you believe in God or a higher intelligence or power, perhaps you can take this beautiful aim as an actual practice for the new year, which will, as I have found in my own life, show you more about yourself than you may imagine. What's more, were enough of us to actually live this way, we could transform the world. Don't you agree? Aesop said that, quote, no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted, end of quote. I'm not sure he was just referring to the apparent recipient of the kindness. The fact is, every time you are kind to someone else, the kindness rubs off on you, too. It helps transform you into a more compassionate human being. As David R. Hawkins said in his book Power versus Force, quote, simple kindness to oneself and all that lives is the most powerful transformational force of all. It produces no backlash, has no downside, and never leads to loss or despair. It increases one's own true power without exacting any toll. But to reach maximum power, such kindness can permit no exceptions, nor can it be practiced with the expectation of some selfish reward. And its effect is as far-reaching as it is subtle. End of quote. This quotation comes from Power versus Force. Of course, we read quotes like this, very positive quotes, and we say, hey, yeah, that sounds great. But let's face it, most people can be kind when they're in a good mood or believe they can get something in return. But when they aren't or don't, kindness is, unfortunately, often in short supply. Speaking of kindness in the abstract is easy and counts for very little. What counts far more is being kind to the person in front of you, the one who is inconsiderate, calls you a fool, or cuts you off in traffic. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone is to do nothing. At other times, it is to do what you can to help them avert disaster. Sometimes the kindest thing you can say is to say nothing. At other times, it is to tell the truth, however painful that may be. Much depends not just on the situation itself, but also on your intention, on what's in your heart. Though the kindest action to take in relation to others often requires great discernment, you usually know, if you are honest with yourself, when you are being unkind. At such moments, the greatest kindness is simply to stop being unkind. Think about that for a moment. Whatever mood you're in right now as you're listening, let's take a moment together to feel and express kindness first to ourselves, then to our loved ones, and finally to the entire world. It's important, really important, to begin with yourself. At least it often is. Because if you can't practice kindness toward yourself, it's virtually impossible to practice kindness with others. So let's take a moment now. Just see what in yourself do you need to be kind about? What judgments of yourself have you made and do you continue to make that really require the warmth of kindness? Look, feel, sense. And of course, practicing kindness to our loved ones is usually very easy. But during this holiday season, one often sees that it doesn't always happen. And of course, practicing kindness to the entire world. How do we do that? It's a bit abstract, isn't it? But we can smile to ourselves, an inward smile, breathe through the smile into our whole body and into our heart, and we can wish everyone well, including ourselves. Everyone, even those people we can't stand or we hate. We can wish everyone well, and it's really important to do so. So try it now. So these are some musings, some ramblings from me, and perhaps they've ignited something in you, but there's certainly issues that I think are important to all of us. Thank you for listening.